Hi, Josie. How you doing? I got your work up. My final portfolio turned out differently than what my first intention were because my first intentions were because I found it difficult to form an effective narrative with the number of photos I had to each of my subjects. I'm not really sure I understand what you're saying here. I think the narrative is pretty clear. I do. I think that the narrative is very clear. And in fact, I mean, I'm going to go ahead and take some liberties here, but I'm thinking that you're saying that this is just as much about the adult coach as it is about the kids because this guy's into it, man. He's into this, man. And I think this setup shot right here really shows a contemplative coach getting ready for a game. So this is, I think it's a fantastic shot, and I think it's a great way to start the narrative. Excuse me one second. Sorry about that. The one thing, excuse me, the one thing I think is problematic is the fence. I really do. I mentioned that before, and I really think that these shots that don't involve the fence are just so much more interesting and clear without the distractions caused by that really prominent foreground. In some of the cases, you even have the fence in focus as opposed to focusing on what's behind the fence. This is a good example. So I mean, if you're trying to say something with the fence, I suppose it would make sense. But to me, you're trying to get the essence of the game and the essence of the relationship with this coach and the game of baseball, this coach and the children and the game of baseball, and the relationship between the children and the coach. So to me, the fence doesn't really fit into that kind of formula. Okay. And I think that it's really, really super distracting. A shot like this, I would have done anything I could have to try to get, not necessarily on a field, but maybe even with a telephoto or a zoom lens, maybe somewhere that you can get this unobstructed shot of the group meeting without the distractions of the foreground fence. And this is another one of those examples where I'm saying the focus is on the fence. This is clearly in focus, where it's not now. I think if we're to change your camera settings a little bit to deepen your focus and maybe blur the fence so that we can see what's going on through the fence, that may have been a more effective outcome, I think. Okay, now we're getting to the meat of the matter, and that's these unobstructed views of the coach and the game of baseball and the kids, the coach's relationship with the game, the coach's relationship with the kid's relationship with the game, and the kid's relationship with the coach. So, and that's what I'm getting at. That's the power of the narrative, I think. I think this man truly misses the game of baseball. Not that I don't know if he's still playing, but I just see the passion in him. The passion is overwhelming. So he loves the game of baseball and he loves coaching kids. To me, it almost looks like he wants to be playing. And again, this is what I was talking about. You're getting a clear view through the fence. With the fence, it's not so much of a distraction here, but it still is. Boy, I would have done anything to try to get up there, to get a shot from there, or even out over by this fence where you can zoom in a little bit and get maybe a different perspective, but still get the essence of these relationships here. Okay, great shot. Oh, that's such a good shot by that darn fence. A shot like this you could have staged. Definitely, you could have staged this shot, and I think it would have worked out beautifully. So, in other words, you don't really need to be on the field for a shot like this. Plus, there's a lot of areas where you could have gotten these shots maybe from a practice as opposed to an actual game. Like, for instance, I don't see the opponents. I don't see the color blue anywhere here. So this shot, I think, definitely could have been staged. This is a fantastic shot. And that darn fence, this is just a really wonderful shot. It really, really shows the reverence and the admiration, the love, and it's a good shot. Again, this seems like, this is a game scenario. Yeah, okay. So I think that a lot of what I'm talking about is pointing to planning your compositions instead of trying to say, okay, this is where I'm stuck here. Try to maybe try to get a different perspective somewhere else where you don't have the obstruction of these fences. I have done some crazy things to get the shot before. I mean, I've climbed bridges, and I'm not saying that you want to do that. I'm not saying climb up to the top of this. I'm saying that get the shot in a safe way. I mean, I've been a little crazy in my day, climbing bridges to get the shot. And I literally have climbed bridges. I've climbed trees. I've actually gone in sewers. Oh, geez, I actually lifted the top off a sewer, put myself in the sewer to get that camera right there on the ground. So, I mean, I've really gone to extents to get the shot. And I think that that's something that you might consider in setting up your compositions moving forward. This is a really interesting shot because it's got this kind of this like it's kind of like a vintage feel to it with the way the sky is kind of yellowed. But narrative wise, I think might be the strongest piece in the whole series. This kid is just looking for coaching, and he's giving it to him. So this kid ain't about to make a move without his coach is okay. And that is the essence of Little League Baseball. And I think that's a great shot. Another good shot. That's a good action shot right there. Really, really good action shot. Everybody's ready, hands on knees, let's go. This is the moment of action. This is a really, really good, well-composed, well-thought-out shot. Again, another very, very good shot. I would almost want to mention that I hope this isn't the case, and I'm not saying that it is, but it certainly is a possibility. Wondering if you had your camera on auto mode here. The reason I say that is because those trees in the background are pretty well in focus, as is she's in focus. So what I'm thinking is that it may have been a little more interesting, and again, moving forward, to open up your aperture a little bit so we can get this kind of in this blurred out focus, a really super soft focus in the background so that we're really concentrating on these foreground images. That's a good shot too. I'm wondering about this kid here. He's like, what's going on with him? It seems like, boy, and this image is interesting. I really wonder what's going on in this shot right here. Okay, and then where did we go? Oh, okay, and again, I think that's an interesting shot, and I think that maybe one image with the fence, I think could really kind of draw this separation between the spectator and the sport. And I think that a couple of the shots with the fences, I think, kind of allude to that. Maybe like this one right here and this one right here definitely make this separation between the spectator and the sport. And I think that's an interesting comment to make right there. Okay, and then one of my favorite shots is this one. And again, this guy just loves baseball. I don't mean to say this guy. I don't know if this is your husband. I think that you did say this. I'm not going to say it, but this man truly enjoys the game of baseball, and it's so apparent, and it's just such a pleasure to see somebody in such enjoyment out of one of life's simple pleasures. Okay, so let's jump back here. I've taken too long, but there's so many images. I want to go through some technical merits here. Blown out right here. There's too much light in your camera right here, so we don't have any detail in the highlight areas right here. Okay, this is a fantastic shot. I just love this shot. I think one of the smart things you've done is a consistent border. It's a good thing to add white too as opposed to black. A lot of students are putting black borders around their images, which boxes things in and doesn't give them a relationship with the outside world, which I think a white border definitely does that. This is good exposure, really neat shot. So is this. A little bit overexposed here, as we can see in some areas. There's just no detail in the dirt, and then the roof over here is completely blown to white. And that's not surprising. That's a tough shot because there's direct sunlight with a white roof. So that's a tough one. This one's good. Most of your shots are really good. Now this and this have this kind of yellow overcast. Now I don't know if you were going for that. I think it's a neat effect, but I'm not sure if that's something you were going for. In the real world, skies aren't yellow. So that's something that you would do on white point, black point adjustment layer in Photoshop. And I would select that area right there to bring that to true white, which will color correct the sky and the rest of the image. If this is intended, then it's a cool effect. So is this. They almost look like vintage photos. Really good exposure here. Here, this is tough. This is tough because in the real world, it's a tough shot because in the real world, we don't see pure black. We don't, we would see details in the shorts. We'd see the creases and the folds. Even on a sunny day, even in direct sunlight, we would still see detail in the black shorts. We don't see that here, which is a tough fix. It can be done. It's tough to catch on board the camera, but it can definitely be done in Photoshop. See what I'm seeing? See what I'm saying? These creases right here, they would definitely be visible in the real world to the naked eye. We would see those. In the real world, to the naked eye, nothing is blown complete white or complete black. Even on a sunny day, everything has detail. Even on a dark day, in a dark room, things that reside in the shadows have detail. All right, fantastic job. Love the narrative. Just love it. Really great job. All right, any questions at all? Let me know. Thank you very much.